watching all the good old boys go from rich to broke, when every last time they have went up their nose. Take another drink, smoke another smoke, do another line, baby, take another toke, spend another dollar, one more for the show, and I'll tighten my belt one more notch and head out for the road. So when your hungry child asks you why, I hope you'll have the balls to look them in the eye and tell them the straight truth of where the money goes. Take another drink, smoke another smoke, do another line, baby, take another toke, spend another dollar, one more for the road, and I'll tighten my belt one more notch and head out for the show.
All right, well, listen, all right, so we found somewhat of a fix for now. All right, now, let me just explain to you guys. All right, so typically on interview night, what we do is, well, what I do is I use Skype. I use Skype for the audio reasons. If you have your conversation via Skype through the board, it sounds like Jefferson's like sitting right on my lap. But tonight we're having some issues, but I was able to call his phone, and the audio's good enough we can get by. And Jefferson, hello, sir.
Hello, sir. To you, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. I feel a bit flustered right now because it didn't work out the way I quite wanted it to, but we got you. And I apologize to you, sir. And we're going to make this happen. Thank you so much.
Well, good. Absolutely. I'm glad to be here.
So, listen, typically I start out with trying to find out what got you into the whole music realm in the first place. And I was doing some research. And I was reading an interview you did with Kim Carney over there at Music Mafia, or anyartistrule.com.
Yeah.
And like your trip into the music world started from the womb in a way, because you come out of the womb fighting, and that fight kind of led you into music.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Looking back on it, it was crazy. Going through it, it was just kind of every day. It was the norm.
Well,
I didn't really get into music though until about 7 or 8, sitting up in Harlan, Kentucky with my father's grandparents, and my grandmother put a guitar in my hand and said, "Let me show you how to play this thing." And that's kind of where it all started, playing gospel bluegrass.
Gospel bluegrass.
Yes.
Well,
gospel bluegrass.
So let's talk. I mean, if you don't mind. Let's talk a little bit about what led up to that, because I was shocked to know this. I didn't know this until I read the blog, the interview that Carney did here a while back, and I read it again here yesterday. And but seriously, you were fighting straight out of the womb. From what I understand, you had a watermelon-sized cyst on your face.
Yeah, I was born with what's called cystic hygroma lymphangioma. They've shortened the name now instead of shell, now PTSD. They call it a lymphatic malformation now. Sometimes it's cancerous, sometimes it's not. In my case, it was. It was huge. We didn't know what to do, so they flew me from Italy to Germany, United States. I got lucky. I got some really good doctors. And my parents were, kind of, let's just make this happen. My father didn't find out until I was 3 months old. He was out to sea on war games. So there was no contact. So they called him when they contacted him. They were like, "Oh yeah, your kid's not in Italy right now. He's back in the States."
Well, wait a minute. You
It was a
laugh.
shock for everybody.
Well, hold on. You laugh, but I mean, wait a minute. So your dad's out. You know, he's in the military. He's doing war games, and you're
Yep.
to kind of fill everybody in here. You were born in Italy,
Correct. Yeah,
right?
I was born in Pozzuoli, Naples, Italy.
And because of this cyst or whatever you had going on, you had to be rushed back to the States where you could get, good care. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was dying, and I wasn't going to make it.
And
They flew me over in an old cargo plane, a Met flight, and we sat in the back in pretty much unpressurized cargo net to Maryland, to D.C.
wow. Now, is it because they just didn't have?
It was 1974.
Say that again. It was what?
It was 1974. That's just how they moved the military around.
Oh, all
And
right.
it was, the spur of the moment. Let's get it there. Let's get it there. Yeah.
All right. So, but
We took care of their military.
and-
Let me throw that in.
but the first few years of your life were, for your words, were spent looking out of a hospital window.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hospital window. That was, and sitting around with, one of those old tape recorders with and then you push the tape in and push it down. With, they had those tape buttons, if you remember, where you can get like 15 free tapes if you paid the price of one. Remember those things? And I would order tapes, and I had, it's full of everything from Otis Redding to Metallica and, just everything in the mid 80s that was going on. And that was the thing. And then I got into the older stuff, Zeppelin, and I just loved music. Music was my one companion. So that's kind of what I did.
It is insane. And during all this, I also read that, there was a music store. There was a music store that let you beat on all the instruments.
Yeah, man, this guy, I can't remember his name. I don't think I ever knew his name, to be honest. My mom ran this glass company and this music store next to it. The guy was kind of this really eclectic. He had this huge vinyl record collection you could buy stuff from, new instruments, old instruments. He was one of these guys that wore a wife beater and shorts and a pair of sandals with black socks, and he smoked a nasty cigar, But he let me do whatever I wanted. And he showed me some things and, got me on some drums and, I'd play guitar and mandolin or whatever was available, That kind of, when I felt well enough, really. Otherwise, I was sleeping underneath my mom's desk.
Wow. It's... You talk about this almost like it's just kind of normal. Like, it is what it is. It's,
It's normal. So it's given me a weird sense of empathy towards other people who are struggling sometimes. And I got to put myself in their shoes, and I got to sometimes because I'm like, wow, you're mad because you missed lunch? Let me tell you about my day. But I have to stop myself because I don't want to be that person. I want to be a nice person. So I have to stop and kind of read and just tell people have not gone through what you've gone through. So I have to judge everything on a as it comes to me level instead of what I've dealt with in my life. So I think that's helped me a long way. But I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I'm sitting here smoking a big. Sorry.
Now, you know what? Now, I'll be the first one to tell you we are 420 friendly here at Music Mafia Radio. Okay, now listen.
Well, I am in central Maine, in the middle of nowhere. I have phone service at two places: my home and where my magic is happening. And that's pretty much it. Everything else, there's miles between anybody. There's nothing out here. I see skunks every day, porcupines. It's ridiculous. But it's all real. It's all legal.
Now these are animals and not strains, correct? Porcupines and such.
Correct. Yes, correct.
We are 420 here. You know what though? I got to be honest with you. I know your stance on 420, which makes it kind of hard because one of the things I read about in that interview you did with Carney was the fact that it was pointed out that because of maybe some hardships or what have you, you kind of went down the path of drugs, but then you kind of shook that, and so. I mean, most of us don't consider weed a drug, all right? But some that are super sensitive are going to be like, well, wait, he's off the wagon. He's off the wagon.
Right. Well, I asked my doctor down in South Carolina, who I have a few physicians with dealing with the medical condition that I grew up with, and one of them is from South Africa, and I'm not going to say his name, but he's an older gentleman, probably in his late 50s, 60s, and he's fairly conservative, but he's pretty hip on what, outside of the United States pharmaceutical company medication applications. So he said to me, Jefferson, as your doctor in the state of South Carolina, I cannot recommend you using cannabis. As your friend, I think for your condition, it would help you greatly. But he's also studied the cannabinoid system. There's this, your whole body has thing in it. There are a lot of doctors that's just not taught to them, so they don't understand it. It really helps. With the help of cannabis, I have not used anything stronger than Tylenol in 21 years as of June 24th, 2017.
Wow. Well, listen, I'm a firm believer of God put it on this damn earth for some damn reason. You know what I mean? It's not just because it looks so damn pretty and smells so good.
Right.
And
smells so good. It makes a fine salad too.
Oh, you could do anything with it. Oh. All right.
Man.
I'm getting excited. All right, I can't. Listen, it's not going to look right if I sprouted chub while interviewing Jefferson Coker. All right, but
yeah. So that's kind of the music was nurtured a little bit in that music store, But it wasn't really till high school that I really started noticing that women paid attention to guitar players. I mean, I'm just going to be honest.
Well, okay, and that's a fair point. But what about you're also the vocalist, all right? When was it that you kind of realized, holy shit, I can get these sounds out of my voice also?
It wasn't really until, I sang when I was younger only because I had the highest voice, but I didn't think I sang well. And I was also singing traditional bluegrass, so I wasn't singing in a bluesy manner or a soulful manner in any way.
No, you're trying to sing like an old hillbilly.
Well, yeah, I was keeping in key. We all had our harmonies, and you had to follow these patterns. So it wasn't anything like that. It wasn't until probably 18 or 19 years old, and a buddy of mine, we put together this shitty garage. I mean, we sucked, this garage band. And our singer, we just got tired of him being a douchebag, so we booted him. And we were all like, well, who knows all the words? And I was like, I do. And so I started singing. But it really wasn't until a few years later, after I had returned from Seattle, it was some years later, and I dated a girl out in Seattle, and she's like, Jefferson, you sing well. You just need to get over the fact that you look different than other people, and just sing. Don't pretend they're not there. And once I started doing that, this voice started coming out. Who knew? I mean, it surprises the hell out of me all the time. There are literally times when my voice is in the right condition and I'm singing a song and I don't realize, I don't see the crowd, and I'm